Coach Lisa Fortier. Starting next to me, we have Esther Little. Thanks for being here. You're a senior from England. We'll keep on going down the line to Eden, we already mentioned. Welcome back. Everyone glad to see you. Now in your 5th year?
Yes, 5th year.
They go quickly, don't they?
I know, right?
And then down the line, Mout Heibens, how are you? Good to see you. 6'3" and a graduate student from the Netherlands. What great international flavor we have. But we have to start with Lisa Fortier. Great to see you, and we want to celebrate you. We saw it on social media, but can we just start with your announcement first that you were diagnosed with breast cancer and it had spread to your lymph nodes back in February, but more recently completing those treatments. What a heartwarming scene this was, and if I can start with you, what it felt like to reflect on this moment and the journey since we last saw you.
Yeah, I'm really happy to be here. It's been very unique, different than most of my off seasons. I usually get a lot more rest, and this year, it was different, and I think that it was great. We have an opportunity now to walk the walk. I tell our players often, and my kids, that we're all shaped by our adversities, right? We say that within the season a bunch of times when we lose a game or if we have an injury or if we struggle for one reason or another. And so this happens to be the current adversity that, they've walked through with me. These 3 were all a huge part of that, as well as our players who have graduated and our new players. It was something, recruits that are future Zags, we've all kind of walked through it together. And so I just feel fortunate to have had such a huge community of people supporting me and being a part of it. I know that it doesn't just affect me. We talked in February actually about the ripple effect. We had someone speak to us before we even knew that I had breast cancer about how it ripples out. And so Mout and Vaughn and Esther, they've experienced it also, whether that was in their personal life or a reflection of me. And so it's just great to be a part of something, which is what athletics gives us. But right now, when you're struggling for something that some people like, it's a struggle for your life. To have people like I have with me doing it is that's the best part of the whole thing. And I know that this is for some reason that we're doing this, and that it's going to be something that we're going to lean on our experiences for our lives. So.
Mal, can I ask you to pick up on that thread, because basketball is about culture and family and overcoming adversity. To see it in real life for someone that you've come to know and care about, what perspective does that lend to this season of basketball?
Yeah, I think it's just so inspirational to have someone so close to you go through it. The way she went through it is something that I can say for everyone on our team, like we admire to our core. And it's, she's always taking care of us. She's trying to take care of everyone individually, even though it's a lot of people. And now we were able to reverse that role and make sure to be there for her. And yeah, I think it was just a big focus that she felt like we were there. Even though she wasn't always in the gym, she took some time for herself, obviously, which we encouraged her to do. But just being a presence in the background was important to us.
Yvonne, as you try and bring new student athletes into the mix and bond as a team, how about having a catalyst like this where real life is taking place and you need to find out who's around you?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely showed us a different perspective in life, a different perspective to look at the way you see people who you care about. And I guess coming into this program, we do really value relationships and building relationships and connections with each other and also our coaches and the people around us in our Gonzaga community. But just having this experience, I mean, it, I guess, increased tenfold how much we care about each other, how much we look out for each other. And I think that's definitely an identity we want to carry on with people who come in and want to wear the Gonzaga jersey.
Yeah. So many internationals on this roster, as we mentioned. You're one of them, Esther. When you do go away from home, you find new family, right, in Spokane, the Pacific Northwest. How much did that carry all of you through this moment in time for the Zags?
Oh, for sure. I mean, everyone on our team is like sisters. We spend so much time together. So having people that are experiencing the same thing next to you that you can rely on is so important. So yeah, we're just grateful to be as close as we are and have each other.
What about taking the next steps as a team to build on what you did last year, such an enjoyable run into a tournament that I think was the best we've ever seen in this sport? And I love this moment in time, and you're right at the front and center of that. How can you take last March and April and spin it even better things in the year ahead?
I think just using it as experience, using it as fuel. We understand we have a completely new roster, so just learning our roles, filling the really big shoes that were left. But I think, yeah, just using it as experience and see if we can move further than we did last year.
Yvonne, I'll give you some of your accolades here. Not that you need to hear them, but just to refresh our audience's mind, unanimous selection for this year's WCC preseason team. That was a foregone conclusion given your AP All-American honorable mention, your Becky Hammond Player of the Year award last season. What can you do for an encore?
Be a better teammate.
Wait a second. I saw the reaction down there. Mount, how is she a poor teammate in any previous season?
Mount? No comment.
No,
comment.
She didn't have anything to work on.
Seriously.
She was just being humble. Okay.
Yeah. But definitely, like, I think just building on every single year. It may be hard. I know for other players it's probably harder, but every time I come here, I want to be the best version of myself, and I always want to continue to grow. So just finding areas where I can improve that has always been my goal and my forefront. So I come in every day hoping to get 1% better, and I hope that's what I end up doing this year through the work that I put in and the teammate that I am and the person that I'm still trying to build myself as.
You didn't get much of an off-season either, as I understand. What was your summer like? Tell us about that experience.
This summer was truly amazing. A lot of basketball, a lot of training, but a lot of learning as well. I think being surrounded by the players and the coaches that I was around really showed me where I wanted to be and how I could get there just in that professional life. And at the Olympic level, I mean, it's a whole new environment there. Being around other athletes as well, traveling to like different countries. I've never been to France before, so that was new for me. But getting to experience all of that, I felt like it definitely helped me grow as a person in many more ways than just on the court. But I'm truly grateful for every single moment that I had there.
Lisa, what was it like for you to turn the top player in the conference over to international hands and see her grow through another summer away from Spokane?
Yeah, we're used to that, not the Olympics. We've only had a couple of people who've been able to compete at that level. But with all these, these three are internationals. We have a roster full, I think 6. Do we have 6 or 7 international players on our team right now? So, and that's always a commitment that we make to them, is that if it works out that they need to go for whatever reason, then we'll be supportive of them. Because I think a lot of people don't let you go for summer. I mean, Vaughn was gone. Vaughn was with us for a couple weeks, and then she took off. And Matt was gone for some of the summer, and Lauren and Taylor were gone for some of the summer with international stuff, and Inesh. And so I think if you're going to recruit international players, then you have to have that in mind. And we trust that they're going to work on their game. Vonnie was going to be working every day. Right. She didn't come back without muscles or, no athletic. She didn't lose her athleticism or her jumper or anything like that. She didn't lose her voice. So we knew that she was going to continue to be her, just like the rest of them are when they go over for an international play. We would have liked to have had her around a little bit more, of course, but this has been a goal that Vaughn's talked about since we were recruiting her, and so I know that she wants to do it again and do it even better than she has before or had this year. But I think that it was something that was really special to see. I was able to go, so Coach Craig and I got to watch her, and really, I get emotional about a lot of things, but it was a different kind of emotion seeing her in that uniform at that stage, and really just proud of her. So.
Speaking of recruiting, no Sweet 16 team gets to bring everyone back. How have you gone about replacing some of what you lost, and what would you like the identity of this new team in 24-25 to be?
Yeah, it's interesting because we had so many fifth-year, there were a bunch of fifth-year players, and we didn't know that they were coming back necessarily, and so the recruiting behind them was a little bit different than it had been. Not a full restock like you would normally expect players who are going to graduate on time or whatever. So I think we've dug into the transfer portal. We had some good high school players that were already committed, of course, and we've gotten some good transfers with a variety of experiences. And I think that we're just expecting our team to be the best version of us, and I think right now we don't actually know what that is yet. I think that we're very experienced inside. These two have played a lot of minutes. They're both fifth years who have spent a lot of time on the court, and so that's where our experience may lie. But I think that we have other parts of our depth that can also come to the forefront and be strengths as well. So I think that will develop. I don't believe that you actually know the identity of your team until you get about into the middle of December and you start to know what you're made of. And so by that time, I think we'll have a different answer. But right now, we're just expecting them to give their best every day, to be open to learning, open to coaching, and just trying to improve every day.
When I look at the schedule and I see at Stanford early in November, a nationally televised game against Cal, Florida State neutral, like you're going to find out in those early months of the season. Mount, how about the newcomers? A lot of them bring either WCC experience, high major experience, UConn experience, I think. How have they joined your team and impacted practice so far?
I think they've done a great job just by even being themselves, bringing new flavors and new personalities to this team. That's been truly so much fun. They are amazing people, so that's a nice plus to have because it's not always guaranteed. I think everyone has different experiences they're bringing to the table, and right now, just like Lisa said, it's important that everyone's committed and bought in, and we're going to find out the rest along the way and see how much everyone can bring.
I mean, the Gonzaga basketball brand is such that I think people come in with certain expectations from wherever they are in the basketball universe. Do you find that, too, that the standard is the standard and that people who choose to play basketball within your program come with certain expectations?
Yeah, for sure. I think the people that we bring here kind of know what they're wanting to buy into, and we buy into each other and we buy into ourselves. So that's definitely a characteristic that you can see not only from the person, but what they actually put out on the court. And that's what we love here at Gonzaga. That's our style of play. That's our culture. That's our identity. Something that we always want to uphold, developing the whole and the individual in its all. So very happy that we got people that are willing to step into that role and buy into that process, because I think overall it's just going to benefit us how we want it to.
Esther, let's talk about the front court. Coach touched on it a little bit there, but that's not a bad place to begin a new season, like knowing who your bigs are and what you're going to be able to do in terms of imposing your will early in a non-conference schedule. How about this group that's coming back and how you can dominate the interior?
Yeah, well, I mean, these two are probably two of the best that you'll see in the WCC. We also have a freshman, Lauren, from New Zealand, who has a lot of international experience on the senior level as well as playing at home. So she's also going to be someone to watch. But I'm just grateful to have these two on my team and I don't have to play against them because in practice, it makes it a lot easier.
I was going to say, it's nice to throw it down to the block and know that you're going to get an assist. But it's even better knowing that you're not attacking the paint and getting turned away is what you're saying. What about the role as the favorite? You wear it well, right? I'm sure it doesn't even make an impression on you anymore, but with a couple of new teams in the mix this year, Oregon State and Washington State, how does it feel to still be picked atop the WCC?
Yeah, I think it's just the same as every year. Just how we approach it, I think that's what really dictates what goes forward and how we move forward. But I think if anything, it's one day at a time. It's one step at a time. We're very grateful that we're picked for first, but we have to step out there and we have to prove it. It's never guaranteed. It's not set in stone, and we have to make sure that people know that we don't come out here just to like play games. We're here to compete, and they're here to compete with us. So we're just trying to go out there, play good basketball, and do amazing things this season, win a conference championship. So we're just making sure that that's our forefront when we step into practice every single day.
And Matt, you've learned that the hard way the last couple of springs coming to Las Vegas. How much would you like to cap the career by cutting down some nets when you're back in March?
Don't even get me started.
I'm trying to get you started.
I'm not leaving here without it.
Tell us more about that. Like how much of that is in the back of your mind as you go through this 24-25 season?
Well, Esther and I came in the same year, so we cut down the net that year in Vegas, and then we were kind of bummed 2 years in a row. So, yeah, I think I don't want to say it's like in the back of my mind all the time, but like I do think about it when we come back here.
Yeah, going out the right way.
Yeah.
But I also think it speaks to the depth of the contenders in this conference, doesn't it? That
100%.
Everyone sees what you've done on the national stage at the NCAA tournament. Maybe what gets overlooked is there's other challengers right here in Las Vegas in March before you get there.
Yeah, it's so easy to overlook and like look at March and whatever. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a point in time this year that it's hopefully going to be a better outcome for us this year.
Well, it helps to have the six-time WCC Coach of the Year, doesn't it?
It does.
Lot of wisdom there. Lisa.
No pressure.
No, it's not. It's
Never.
perspective, right? pressure is a privilege, they say, and I know that you treat it that way. But with a decade of perspective in this conference, at this program, what's it mean to go into year 11 with a star-studded group that seems to be very aligned with your principles?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just happy. I'm happy for the players that I get to coach. And I love the ones that are amazing at basketball. I love the ones that can rebound. I love the ones who are the best teammates we've ever had. I love the ones that can guard. You know, these guys here, all three can do quite a few things. But I think that the idea is right. You know, they're saying the right things that is it in the back of their mind more than ours? You know what I mean? We just try to tackle everything one day at a time. I would say now the target is officially up. I think the target's always up at Gonzaga, but now you have to work for it. So I think what Vaughn said, you have to prove it every day in practice. You don't just get to prove it in the games. So you don't just get to prove it when you come down here to Vegas. That's not the proof, and that's not, if it doesn't go well, that's not defining of our season or of who we are as people or as a team. And if it does go well, that's also not defining. You know, that means that we did well that day, better than the other team. And so I think it's the perspective is that it's a long season, that it's just a part of who we are, not all of who we are, and we just want to perform our best. And so it's just sometimes disappointing when we don't get to do that, and hopefully you can learn from it and try it again next time.
Esther, you weren't just part of that great 2024 NCAA tournament and making it to the second weekend, but you got to host those first couple of games. What was that experience like, I think, at the peak moment that I've experienced in women's college basketball? And how much are you look forward to running it back right now that everyone's hooked, both on Gonzaga women's hoops and the sport at large?
Yeah, I mean, hosting was a goal for us from probably middle of the season when we knew that there was some chance in being able to host. I've never seen the kennel quite like it. The crowd was crazy. The students really got involved, so that helped us over the hump, I guess you could say. But yeah, we're just grateful that we got to experience that. And yeah, we're looking forward to that. But like we've been saying, like it's one day at a time. Like we have non-conference, conference, like the tournament, and then the NCAA. So not looking too far ahead and just focusing on the present and seeing how far we can get.
Did you feel that carry on to the international stage too, that American women's basketball was at such a fevered pitch that it spilled into Paris?
Yeah, I think just the focus that people had on the players that were stepping into that stage, especially all the countless like NCAA players we had playing not even just basketball but other sports as well. I think that definitely gave a lot more attention to kind of what we are doing at this stage and at this level, and gave more eyes to like all that competition that was going on. So that was really incredible to see, just the fan experience, all the support that was coming back from home, from Spokane and things like that, knowing that people are committed to us athletes and us women athletes. I think it's amazing. So yeah. Any
rooting interest tonight or in this final series?
Yes, we love Courtney. Bonnie loves Courtney, but she also likes Bridget Carlton. But I'm all in for the Liberty and Courtney Vandersloot.
Got it. All right, we'll get your eyes on that TV. Thank you for being with us for a preview of your season and for the WCC at large. We appreciate each and every one of you.
Thank you.